Good morning, everyone. Myself, Vrushali Aire, welcome you all in the next session. Today, we are going to learn summary of the lesson from honeycomb, which already you learned in the month of April. So, before starting our session, I would like to tell you few things. Thought of the day. As you know more, you grow more. Means when you know better, you do better. If you want to be more powerful in life, educate yourself. It's that simple. Learn as much as you can while you are young, since life becomes too busy later. And also, the capacity of the capacity to learn a gift, the ability to learn is a skill actually. The willingness to learn is a choice. If you want to be more powerful, you have to educate yourself. And when you talk, you are only repeating something you know. But if you listen, you may learn something new. Definitely. So, this was the thought of the day. New word principle. 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 Meaning a moral rule or standard of good behavior. And moral story. Our story name is Sometimes Just Let It Be. This story is of Lord Buddha. Once, Gautam Buddha was traveling from one town to another town with his followers. While they were traveling, they happened to pass a lake. They stopped there and Buddha told one of his disciples, I'm hungry and thirsty. Please get me some water from that lake. Disciple walked towards that lake. When he reached there, he noticed that some people washing clothes in the water. And right at that moment, a bullock cart started crossing the lake. So, as a result, the water became very muddy. The disciple thought, oh, how can I give this muddy water to the Buddha to drink? So he came back and told Buddha, the water is very muddy. I don't think it is good for drink. Buddha said, don't worry. Let us take a little rest near this tree. After about an hour, again Buddha asked the same question to disciple to go back to the lake and get him some water to drink. So the disciple went back to the lake. Now, this time he found lake had absolutely clear water. The mud had settled down and water looked good for drink. He collected water and brought to Buddha. And then Buddha said to disciple that, see, you let the water be and mud settle down on its own. And you got clear water. It didn't require any effort. It is the same thing with our mind too. When it disturbed, just let it be. Give it a little time. It will settle down on its own. You don't have to put any effort to calm it down. we can judge and take best decisions of our life when we stay calm. So, in this way, all disciples got one more important life lesson. So, moral of the story is always stay calm and never take hasty decisions. So, if in life we are going to take any decision, we should stay calm and then we are supposed to take any type of decision. That's why the name of the story is Sometimes Just Let It Be. Keep as it is the things, it will settle down automatically. So, students, let's start. So, from our lesson, chapter 1, 3 questions. You learnt already, you have your notes, all the things are with you. So, we are going to summarize this chapter at first. Okay, so I will tell you summary of the lesson. Before that, I would like to tell you about author. Yes. So, on September 9th, 1828, Leo Tolstoy was born in Tula province. Yes, author is Leo Tolstoy. In the 1860s, he wrote his first great novel, War and Peace. In 1873, Tolstoy set to work on the second of his best known novels, Anna Karenina. He continued to write fiction throughout the 1880s and 1890s as well. One of his most successful later works was The Death of Ivan Ilyich. Tolstoy died on November 20, 1910 in Astapua, Russia. So, here we start. A Tolstoy story, the three questions in the opening paragraph, though philosophical in nature, may be of practical significance to individuals in self-realization and value inculcation. So, the story is sectioned in two parts. Each part may be sectioned further according to the convenience and time available. Comprehension check are there, and while reading comprehension exercises in the form of factual comprehensions question, MCQs, and completion of sentences. So, one question I want to ask you kids, isn't the present time, it is the right time to do as the best you can task in the hand? Can you choose any particular time to do good thing? Definitely not. No one knows future. So we cannot judge anything. So we can correlate as moral story to this lesson. You have to recall it. Okay. So let's start. Once there was a king who thought that to be a successful ruler, he must know the answer of three questions. And the questions were: what is the right time to begin something? Which people should he listen to? And third one was, what is the most important thing for him to do? So the king sent some messengers in all directions to find people who could answer these three questions. Many wise men came, but their answers were all different. For the first question, some of them felt that the king should follow a timetable, while there were others who felt that it is not possible to decide the right time for doing something in advance. Similarly, for the second question, some wise men said that the king should follow his counselors, while others thought he was the priest whom the king should listen to. Then there were those who felt that it was the doctor the king should obey, while there were many favor of soldiers. For the third question, some wise men said science should be of the highest priority for the king, while others said religion. So King was not satisfied with these answers as they were so different from each other. He didn't give any reward to anyone as he decided and thought to seek consultation of a wise hermit who lived in the jungle. The hermit will see only ordinary people. So the king dressed up like a normal man and he thought, I will meet him. And leaving behind his horse and bodyguards and went to the hermit's hut. The hermit was an old man and was busy digging the ground in front of his house. The king told the hermit that he has come in search of answers for three questions, and he repeated that three questions. The hermit didn't respond and continued digging the ground. Some time passed, and the king, seeing the hermit to be tired, offered his help. The king continued digging the ground and the ground till evening. He continued his work. In the evening, the king again requested the hermit to answer his questions, but at that moment, someone came running towards the hermit's hut. Oh, now they were alert. The king then went look for the hermit who was sowing seed in the beds that they have dug the day before. He requested the hermit for the last time to the answer his question. To this, the hermit replied that the king has already found the answers. If he would not have pitied hermit's condition the day before, then the man would have attacked him on his way and he might have lost his life. So, the most important time was when he was digging the bed, and the hermit was the most important man. A man came running towards them with a hand on his wounded stomach. The king cleaned the wound and dressed the wound, controlling the flow of blood. The man felt better and asked for some water also. Then hermit and the king took the man inside the house. The man was lying quiet inside the house, and the tired king too fell asleep on the ground. So, in the morning, when the king opened his eyes, he saw the wounded man asking for forgiveness. The man told the king that he had come to take a revenge from him because the king had killed his brother and had taken away all his property. He wanted to kill the king while returning from the hermit's place. Now king was shocked. Oh, what happened? And what will happen now? But the king's bodyguard found him and wounded him. He would have died if the king would not have helped him. Definitely, his condition was really bad. He regretted his thoughts of killing the king and promised to be his faithful servant. He forgot all things. The king was pleased to turn his enemy into a friend. See, students, you can imagine how the situation will be. He forgave him and returned all his property. When the wounded man arrived, the most important time was when he was caring for him. Else, he would have died of his wounds without the two of them reconciling for their acts. So, at that moment, the wounded man was the most important man, and nursing him was the most important business or the act. The hermit said to the man that the most important time is now. Why? Because it is the only time when we have the power to act. You can imagine that, students, when we have any opportunity, we have to accept it, we have to grab it. So, the most important person at a particular moment is we ourselves, because future is unknown to all of us, and there is always an uncertainty about meeting anyone else. Why? You know very well, earth is round and any time we can meet to each other. That's why the most important job is to do good to others, because we have been sent to this world for this noble cause, and that is our business, a real business. So, in this way, King got his answers and he understood all the things. So, what moral we can take from that chapter? The most important time, person, and thing belongs in the present time. So, make the best of what you have here and now. Don't think of future. Oh, what will do with me? What will happen with me after the any bad condition? Now, what should I do? Don't think anything. Just think whatever you have now and in which condition you are now. Just think about present time. So this was the 3 questions. Let's move towards next slide. Now, very simple activity I'm going to give you. Revision question that is related with your text only. Make your own meaningful sentence by using following words. For example, thank. So you have to write meaningful sentence from that word. I would like to thank all of you. So these are few words and you have to write meaningful sentence. First one is break, then stretch, then wonder, then remember, and next one is advance. Hope you will do your best. Next, I know you have your notes, but for revision, I'm going to provide you these notes. You can rewrite it and you can recall all the answers. You can learn all the question answers from this chapter. So, second question is there from the working with language. Each of the following sentence has two blanks. Fill in the blank with appropriate forms of the word given in the bracket. So try to solve by your own and then you can check your answers. Hope you understood the lesson. Do the revision, do the practice, read lesson twice, learn meanings from the textbook, and do your best. All the best. Okay, now we will move towards from Unit 1, Poem 1, The Squirrel. Yes, I know. A very, very cute animal actually, squirrel is. Everyone loves squirrel, everyone knows squirrel. We know how shy it is and how it expresses his feelings, how he scare about human being. So this poem is written by Mildred Bowers Armstrong. So Armstrong explained this poem in such a beautiful way that everyone loves that squirrel. Everyone loves to read, everyone loves to listen, to see the squirrel. And I know you may have seen a squirrel sitting on the ground, eating nut, eating different type of small fruits. There, here, a few comments had given in the poem to the squirrel. Means the squirrel tail look like a question mark, like in that way it is shown over there. So at first I will read out the poem for you and then I will summarize it. Let's start. He wore a question mark for tail, an overcoat of grey. He sat up straight to eat a nut. He liked to tease and play. And if we ran round his tree, he went the other way. Mildred Powers Armstrong. So, here, poet want to describe squirrel. In the poem, the squirrel, the poet Armstrongs describes a squirrel that he observes in his garden. Actually, the poet describes how the squirrel covered in a grey fur, grey coat, sits in an upright position on a tree branch, eating the nut. His tail looks like a question mark because it's bent shape. When it sat on the tree, that time it looked like as a question mark. The happy and lively squirrel loves to play with the poet and her friends. So many times that squirrel played with poet and poet's friends also. So whenever they ran around the tree, he would run to the other side of the tree. The poet tells us about the nature of the squirrel, that it is innocently naughty and likes to tease anyone who comes near him. So, um, in the village areas also we can found, if suppose we are beneath the tree, at that time we can see the squirrel as well over there. And if we are at the right side, so squirrel will go from opposite side. So, if human beings ran around his tree, the squirrel wouldn't be frightened. It would like to tease and play. Again and again, it will come. It will tease us. It will tease human beings. To do so, it would also run round the tree but from the opposite side. Definitely, it will not come in front of anyone. So, squirrel is a funny little animal that likes to play with human beings only. So, one activity I'm going to give you, when in a time if you have found any type of squirrel, you have to observe that squirrel, observe it, and you can write it by your own, what you observed, what nature you observe, how he was looking like. So in that way you can summarize your opinion over there. And also you are supposed to write summary of this poem. Fine. So this was the squirrel. So in this way we have completed unit 1, and in that unit 1, chapter 1 and poem 1. For chapter 1, 3 questions I gave you already, that revision questions that you have to learn, rewrite it and try to solve, fill in the blanks. And one more thing, for the squirrel I would like to give you a few things, few creations we can say. You can find out facts regarding squirrel. Means for example, there are around 280 species of squirrel. Squirrels lives in North America, Europe, Asia, Africa. Then squirrels are mammals. Then we can say squirrels build nests called drey, Drey. Squirrels like to build nests in holes of tree trunks. Some squirrel can run up to 20 miles per hour. Squirrels can jump 20 feet. So in this way you can find out lots of things regarding squirrel. You have to draw a picture of squirrel, color it, and one more thing, you can grab information about your favorite animal or the bird. Anyone you can choose. So this one will be your homework, and you have to draw it, you have to color it, and you have to write it, facts, characteristic of that animal or bird. You have to draw it, color it, make it beautifully, make it decorative, and read poem twice, learn question answers as well. And one more thing there is, you can include characteristic like squirrel's tail look like question mark, uh, that question mark of punctuation that comes at the end of an interrogative sentence when we are using any type of question. Looking at the squirrel, you might say it was asking a question. Squirrel is wearing a long overcoat reaching the tip of its tail. If it begins to run now, its tail will look like the bushy end of a painter's brush. Yes, if you come near to the squirrel, if you want to go near, so it will run, and its tail seems to be a painter's brush. How you know very well how brush it is. So like that brush you can find that tail. Now a small activity, write the word and against it two new words that rhyme. You are supposed to write down two rhyming words of these particular words. Grey, mark, vent and nut. So, two different rhyming words you are supposed to write in notebook. Grey, mark, vent and nut. Okay. So, hope you understood that both chapters, 3 questions and the squirrel. And in the next session, we are going to learn grammar part. As earlier, we have seen that how and why grammar is important, why we have to use, why we have to study grammar. So, in the next session, I will come up once again with grammar part. Till that, stay home, take care, and thank you so much. Goodbye.